Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It's your guy, Boulanger. Up next, we're going to be dealing with the Baltimore Ravens drafting Trenton Simpson in the third round and why it may be signaling the end of the Patrick Queen era. Do me a quick favor, man. Hit like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can keep getting content as we upload new videos. Let's go. So, um, as high as I was on night one of the draft, bringing in Lamar Jackson, drafting Zay Flowers, um, I've kind of settled in, you know, the high's gone away. I've kind of settled into kind of where we are as it pertains to team building, roster building, whichever way you want to refer to it as. And so I did not expect the Baltimore Ravens to go with Trenton Simpson. I did do a video, so the name may sound familiar here on the GM. If you're not a fan of college sports or a fan of Clemson, you wouldn't recognize the name. But if you watched the video we did pre-draft about if the Baltimore Ravens trade Patrick Queen on draft night, Trenton Simpson is a guy, a linebacker specifically, that I picked as a Patrick Queen replacement. Okay, so we were kind of ahead a little bit. I selected him to be a second round replacement if they traded Patrick Queen because I thought they would get at least a second round and some other lesser included draft compensation for Queen. But as you guys know, Patrick Queen is still a Baltimore Raven as of right now. Okay, and so as I began to think about it, I'm wondering, okay, well, why? Why would they draft Trenton Simpson in the third round when we do indeed have other depth needs and we also have other roster holes? Okay, coming into the draft, I think we had five depth needs and or holes, so it's kind of a combination. We certainly had a hole at cornerback opposite Marlon Humphrey. We had a depth need at edge rush. We had a hole at left guard. We had a depth need, at least I believe so, at wide receiver. We filled that. We had a big hole at quarterback, and so I thought that we would address some of those needs in the draft and maybe get at least one plug and play player, which Zay Flowers may be that plug and play player. But I did not identify interior linebacker, and not that I had to, but I did not identify interior linebacker as a position that needed depth or had a hole to fill. But here we are drafting Trenton Simpson. All right. And so I think there's three main reasons why this may signal the end of the Patrick Queen era. Okay. Number one, drafting Trenton Simpson is so similar to a Patrick Queen model that the logical response is to trade Patrick Queen. When you pull college tape and you look at Trenton Simpson playing for Clemson, you'll see some Patrick Queen attributes: sideline to sideline, speed. He can rush the passer off the edge. He can blitz in the middle, and he probably has better coverage skills right now than Patrick Queen. But their game is very similar. Now Trenton Simpson is a little bigger and a little faster than Patrick Queen, and also a little longer as far as length. And so because their games are so similar, you would have to just move one of them. Well, since Trenton Simpson is the rookie, he's the new addition, then Patrick Queen would be the logical player that's out, so to speak. And so I think that's the first reason. It's just logical. It's logical that they're now going to move on from Patrick Queen. Okay. Which leans right into reason number two. Comfort of trade. Now that's not a real football term, but follow me. I think when I did my pre-draft take on if they traded Patrick Queen, that Trenton Simpson would be a great replacement, it was in the context of you don't create a hole that you don't have to create unless you have a replacement. Well, comfort of trade means I have the replacement in-house now. So now it makes it easier, or it makes it a more comfortable move when I have an in-house replacement. So if they move Patrick Queen, they have a natural replacement. The skill sets are very, very similar. And Trent Simpson, because of his speed and length and height, he may be a little of an upgrade as he learns the NFL game, right? And so it makes it easier to move Patrick Queen. Okay. So that's my number two reason. My number three reason is simply this: it's financial. The Baltimore Ravens and Patrick Queen um, have a big decision uh, of a contract extension, which I do not think will happen. But they also, meaning the Ravens, they also have a decision to make on his fifth-year option, I think by May 7th. I think that's the deadline. And so they certainly could pick up that fifth-year option and then trade him, so that whoever he goes to doesn't have to make an immediate decision on an extension. But if they don't pick up that fifth-year option, I think a trade is certainly going to happen. The reason being is that he's going into his fourth year. And with no fifth-year option in place, the only way they could get any kind of compensation for Patrick Queen will be to tag him at the end of the season in order to trade him, or to move him between Monday after the draft and the trade deadline mid-season. You see, because they're not going to allow a first-round pick to walk with no compensation in return. Okay. And so because of that, because of the fifth-year option deadline, which puts them on the hook for a $10+ million payout, I think again, we're back to logic. The only logical reason would be to move him, especially when you drafted a bigger and potentially better model than Patrick Queen. Now, I like Patrick Queen. And you guys know I've been against trading him from the beginning. But at this point, I think that adding depth at a position that was already probably the strongest in the league does not make sense. Yeah, I know they can deploy Simpson on the edge and use his speed to get to the quarterback, or they can line him up over a tight end, use him in coverage, things like that. But I think they could do that with or without Patrick Queen. And I do not see the Baltimore Ravens going to a 4-3 on a normal basis enough to use all three at the same time. And then at the end of it all, there's still an issue of a contract extension or a fifth-year option pickup. And I think those things just by themselves make Patrick Queen a huge trade candidate. And so I think that the Trenton Simpson draft selection makes Patrick Queen expendable, and I think he'll be on the move soon. I think that as all the dust settles from the draft going into Monday and Tuesday of next week, I think that we may see some buzz about Patrick Queen being on the move. Now, I won't say it may happen that quickly, but I think it has to happen, because I just don't think how Baltimore has operated that they're going to keep both of those guys. Because like I said, they could lose Patrick Queen for nothing, or they would have to commit to a franchise tag, or they would have to pick up that fifth-year option again, which puts them on the hook for a particular dollar amount. Okay. So if we see Patrick Queen on the move, here's what I think we get in return. I think we will certainly try and get a player and some picks, a player at a position of need, and then also maybe a second and fifth. I would say a first, but I'm not sure if a team is going to commit a first next year to go get Patrick Queen. Now, if that team is, really motivated and they are in win now mode, maybe. But I just think that because Patrick Queen is still in house, we may have should have went a different direction. But it is what it is. But a player, maybe a cornerback and some picks, um, maybe something like a top-notch interior offensive lineman and some picks. Maybe even, I'm still playing with the idea, maybe even DeAndre Hopkins and a pick for Patrick Queen. I'm still greedy. You know what I'm saying? I'm still greedy. I still would like to have him in-house for sure. So I think that something like that, could work out. Patrick Queen for DeAndre Hopkins and a pick. I like the idea. I do. So anyway, man, let me know what you guys want me to know. Let me know if you guys think that Trent Simpson is kind of the signal that Patrick Queen will certainly be on the move sometime between now and mid-season trade deadline. I certainly think it does. I don't think there's any doubt at this point. And so just remember, you heard it here first. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.